Hello friends, Robert here with LTF, Let's Talk Freedom Radio, here to talk to you about one of our sponsors, Helios Microwater. If you're anything like me, you probably don't want to be poisoned and killed and dumbed down by your government by drinking their fluoride-filled tap water. If that's the case, then might I suggest Helios Microwater. So what is Helios Microwater? Microwater is the product of mild electrolysis, which takes place in the microwater unit. Microwater is treated tap water that has not only been filtered, but has also been reformed in that it provides reduced water with a large mass of electrons that can be donated to activate oxygen in the body to block the oxidation of normal cells, while at the same time purifying your water and removing bacteria, fluoride, and other harmful chemicals. So find Helios Water online at helioswatergroup5.webs.com and call or click for your Helios Microwater today. And mention the word freedom to get 10% off of 10 bottles or more. That's Helios Microwater. Water for life.
You're listening to Let's Talk Freedom Radio, defeating the New World Order, one podcast at a time.
Man to death, even though he did absolutely nothing wrong. Now of a 400-pound man with asthma who died Thursday after police put him in a chokehold.
The 18-year-old male victim had no weapon on him, and he had his hands up in the air, but was still shot by police multiple times.
NYPD officer guilty to raping a school teacher at gunpoint in the Bronx.
I bet you snatch a chain off a nigga's neck, but you won't dare snatch a badge off that nigga's chest. And it's funny, because if you put C in front of the word op, then you'll probably just figure out who's your biggest threat. In Long Island, they choked that poor man to death. In Missouri, Mike Brown caught one in the head. Couple days later, they shot another nigga 9 times and had the audacity to cuff him after he was dead. All that blood spilled, all them tears shed. All these young unfinished lives ended. If I committed murder, I'll get 25 to life. But if a cop commit murder, he only gets suspended. Fuck your uniform, fuck your badge, fuck your weapon. You're supposed to protect us, instead you want us to fear you. And practice all those lethal tactics that they teach you. Stop abusing your power, nigga. Man, you are equal. You bleed, I bleed too. You eat shit, I eat too. You got a family waiting for you at home, right? Nigga, me too. You having a bad day? Yeah, me too. When I'm having a bad day, I don't get to walk around and shoot people. Kids used to want to be you, now they want to beat you. You used to be the hero, now the hero turned evil. Start defending the law and stop defending your ego. Shit, they'll probably kill me if I ever release this video. And if so, Mr. Officer, just pray that the Lord forgives you. And forgive you for raping that teacher uptown by Inwood. And forgive you for shooting that kid that opened his door with a Wii remote in his hand that you fucking thought was a pistol. Mr. Commissioner, just tell your popo to chill. There's more of us than y'all, son. Shit about to get real. If we start shooting back, we shooting to kill. There's a kid sharing this video to let you know how he feel. What the fuck makes us so different? What the fuck makes us so different? You commit crimes just like everybody else. You just do this shit with permission. You choke that poor man with permission. You rape that fucking girl with permission. You shot that man's dog with permission. You probably find me and kill me with permission.
Huh? Wow. Stuff, right?
Yeah.
Man. I've seen that video probably 6 or 7 times, and every time I get goosebumps.
Yeah, it's very enlightening, and it's I don't want to call it a hot topic because I don't want people to get the wrong idea about the seriousness of it's not a topic, it's an issue that we're dealing with right now.
Right.
And every single one of my friends that's law enforcement, and every single law enforcement officer, hopefully we can get some to become part of this program. You guys, you have to take back what you were, which was the officer-friendly mentality and, someone that you could run to for help. Because right now, in the eyes of the public, man, you go around and you ask people, they're scared. Right. It's almost like there's another new gang out there, except there's nothing you can do about it because they have permission to kill you if you are upset about anything they're doing, wrong or right.
Right. We have to remind them to remember their oaths, to protect and serve and to preserve the Constitution. And just remind them that they're not, that whole mentality of you're an authority figure. That's just a word that was made up over time, that's never what it was meant to be. You're not an authority. You're a servant.
Supposed to be a servant.
Right.
It's very interesting because, like, now I've been having this conversation with a lot of people, and we've mentioned it in past episodes here, but the Stand Your Ground law, the liberals and the Democrats were very, very scared of that law because they were like, it's going to turn Florida into the Wild West.
Right.
Everybody's going to be killing everybody, everywhere, for any reason. And it seems now that the only people that are abusing those kinds of laws are law enforcement.
Right.
They're killing people and shooting people. And hopefully it's going to stop, and hopefully the more cameras that are out there and the more awareness that's made, people are going to get into the right frame of mind. But you can't just kill people because you're scared. Right. If you're in fear for your life, they're abusing it at this point.
Right.
Some of these guys are like, I was in fear for my life. Right. Really, you're holding a gun. The guy's in his car. He's not doing anything. And I'm referring to the incident of the guy who they tased. They shattered his window out, tased him. Man, that was like a thug
There was
style.
no imminent threat. There was no imminent threat whatsoever. And the whole, I was in fear of my life, that's just the automatic go-to.
And was it worth all that trouble? I'm not talking for the guy in the car. I'm talking for the law enforcement. If your job is to protect and uphold law, if the guy was doing like 90 miles per hour in a school
he wasn't even driving.
But that's my point. I understand upholding the law because your job as a policeman is to enforce policy.
Right.
All these names mean something. They used to.
Right.
And you gotta weigh it up at the end of the day. Is this incident worth human blood? You're not wearing your seatbelt. Look, okay, I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. I took it off when you pulled me over. I was wearing my seatbelt actually. Well, why are you raising your voice with me?
Right.
Come on, man.
Right.
Seriously,
It's intentionally antagonizing.
What did you pull me over for?
Right.
Pow, pow, pow.
Right.
I'm in fear for my life. He
Right.
raised his voice at me.
Right.
And the cop gets desk duty. And seriously, this has been happening for years and years.
Basically a paid vacation.
Suspension. Was it worth human blood, this incident?
Right.
Listen, dude, nobody, and this is for all the law enforcement and anybody that is a public servant, nobody's going to argue with you if you kill somebody who's trying to kill you.
Absolutely.
But when you're instigating, it's becoming clearer and clearer, and you're raising the tension level. You're human, he's human. We need higher education for law enforcement. We need degrees. We need people with criminology, sociology, people that are practically psychiatrists that understand how to deal with people.
Well, there was an article that I was reading on that note, which I wish I could remember exactly who the article was by, and it was a while back, so I do apologize. I mean, because we're talking about 2+ years ago, 2, maybe even 3 years ago.
Right.
But it was an article basically that showed actual memos and things of that nature within the police department, basically expressing to the higher ups to not hire individuals beyond a certain IQ level.
Yep.
Because they want people who aren't going to question authority, that will just kind of be easy to manipulate, mindless robots that will just do what they're told, follow orders, know enough, basically have a high enough IQ to be able to read and memorize the law codes, but not be intelligent enough to question when something is common sense wise. As far as direct order, might not necessarily be constitutional or legal.
So what you're saying is like George Carlin, the comedian, said, just smart enough to operate the machine, but not smart enough to question why you're operating the machine.
Right,
all
right,
yeah.
exactly. And there's actually a memo, and I advise anyone who doesn't believe me to go ahead and look online, Google it, whatever you got to do, and you can actually find those memos online. I don't remember what point system it was that they wanted you to stay below, but they wanted them to hire individuals just under, basically just enough individuals who know how to do math, know how to read, know how to memorize relatively well the statutes and the law codes and
Absolutely.
so on.
Well, I would rather people have super high IQs that are in those positions, especially if they're wielding a gun where they're not going to get in trouble or anything like that. Either that, or we're going to have to change the laws and elect commissioners who are going to penalize, not treat police officers as a separate entity, but just the same laws that a citizen would have, and that if they overstep or abuse anything in any way, that they also get sued and go to prison as well.
Right.
And that'll kind of balance it out. But I do prefer very highly educated people,
Sure.
very clear laws, and I definitely would like to see that every single interaction with somebody is recorded by the officer, because you can do a Ustream like you've mentioned in the past.
Right.
On every single law enforcement officer. It's not expensive technology. It really is.
Ustream is free.
And the most surprising thing to me at this place in time is the amount of backlash from the men in blue where they don't want it. And the question that pops into my head, and I'd like to actually hear your thoughts on this, is if I'm upholding justice and I need for the jury and the judge to see things my way, what better way than to have proof and evidence right there recorded of the actual interaction with the criminal? What are your thoughts?
Well, of course they're going to fight it. They're going to fight it because that kind of ties their hands behind their backs, because they know that, look, the system knows what it's doing in regards to, like we were just talking about, as far as hiring people that are below a certain IQ level. So that whole idea throws a monkey wrench into that. Not only in the cops, the police officers, method of operation, but the system itself. I mean, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who put everything in place. So obviously, they're going to fight against that. They're going to want their people to fight against it because it exposes them. But for where they are.
But not every single law enforcement officer and agency can be corrupt. Yeah, I refuse to believe it. I know there's
absolutely
good people
not
out there.
But and it's like I said online when I was having this discussion with Richard actually, and which is that if it's guilt by association for us as citizens, the same goes for the police.
It definitely has to be. There should not be special allowances.
And that's my point. Is that of course there are good police out there, and we don't want to overgeneralize and make a blanket statement that all cops are corrupt and evil and bad and abuse their power and so on. But if one bad apple spoils the bunch with us, the citizens, they're people too. So it goes both ways, and it's even worse in their case because they've got guns. They've got a lot more guns. You know what I mean?
They do definitely have more right to aim a gun. See, if a cop aims a gun at you in public, he's not going to jail. If you aim a gun at anyone in public, your ass is getting shot and dragged to jail. And you're probably going to do about 15 years just for aiming the gun. Easily.
And it's not only that, but then they've got the whole, like you said, gang mentality, where they back each other's play and they protect each other. They look out for their own. They protect their own. It's this whole us versus them mentality.
I cannot tolerate that, and that's cowardly. Right. Because if somebody's doing right, and I don't care what color, race, sex, gender, whatever, if you're doing right, then you should be protected. If you're doing wrong, again, I don't care if you're my blood, if you come from the same place as me, you're doing wrong. You're out.
Right.
Be gone.
Right.
And I don't know how that changed in America, because it used to be that way.
Right. Yeah, integrity.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. But I mean, and of course there are, you do hear once in a while these stories of officers who refuse to go along.
We need to hear more of those.
We need to hear more of them. That's right. Because if we, the citizens, if we, the citizens, are willing to do it, and there's more of us than more of them, then who's really the protector?
I think that if more of the stories, and maybe some of you guys, our listeners and women out there, have stories of incidences where you were done right and treated with respect and dignity, man, send them in. Excellent. Record them, because. You don't realize how much it makes a difference when somebody sees this with their own eyes. We have nothing but stories about the negatives, but we need to see some examples out of there. There's a young and upcoming cop who will see this video or this story about a law enforcement officer who's actually making a difference by not playing Dirty Harry, and it'll spread like a wildfire. There are cops out there that all they need is the encouragement to know that when they show respect and they act dignity, that it's being recognized.
Right, because
everybody feeds off of it.
A lot of the times this has nothing to do with anything more than ego. It's, I have a gun, I have a badge, I'm a authority figure, and you have to do what I say, and if you don't do what I say, I'm going to effing shoot you in the face.
Okay.
It's insane.
And here's where I become devil's advocate. Now, to come to that place, I understand how they get there, because there's so many rude people that disrespect police officers when they're pulled over. They push, they point, they threaten with their lawyers. And when you're trying to do the right thing, and you did just catch somebody doing 90 miles per hour in a 65, and they're really antagonizing you, it hurts. However, the correct answer is not to shoot them.
Right.
And not that all.
And not only not to shoot them lethally, but I mean even non-lethally, to tase yourself.